Wait, I exist? I no, I didn't know. I thought I died like weeks ago. Really? Well, I guess I'm not dead. So the first thing we're gonna be doing after I've been uh, dead, or not dead, but asleep for a few weeks is I'm gonna be making a hardcore slash uptempo slash Frenchcore kick in FL Studio. So this is actually easier than you might think. Probably a lot easier than you think. Um, so I'm just gonna show you guys how to go about making one. So I already have FL Studio open as of now. And all you're gonna have to do is go into packs, drums, kicks, and pick one of or pick FPC2. Either that, or you can go to Legacy, drums, dance, and you'll find a bunch of kicks there. But I prefer using DNC kick too because it's just easy to use. But what you're gonna want to do is open up the song editor and drag the kick in. Zoom in a bit. Move the kick all the way to the start of the track. Now zoom in all the way, and set your BPM to 200, 190, stuff like that. So what you're gonna want to do is right click here at the end of this first bar and just drag all the way to the start. So that will select just this kick. And now you're just want to play it. Oh yeah, also if it's on pattern, switch to song, because pattern is where you make melodies and stuff. And you can also use it to pitch kicks, but I don't, not a lot at least. So what you're gonna want to do is click on the dance kick, so assign it to track 1 or any next available track. Then go into your mixer, go to that track, and over here you'll see slots for plugins. Now you can either open up a patcher, which allows you to put in more than 10 plugins, but I don't really think you're going to need that for this. All you're going to need is like 3, or I've gotten like the most 10, but that's just when I'm messing around. But so what you want to do is in slot 1, open up Fruity Blood Overdrive. Now you don't have to mess around with anything for this. Slot 2 is Fruity Parametric EQ2, and slot 3 is Fruity Fast Distortion. Now, this differs because sometimes you can put, or sometimes I've tried using Fruity Fast Distortion up here and sometimes down here. And if you want to know how I'm doing this, it's just the scroll bar while my mouse is on top of one of these. So what you want to do is, once you're done opening up these 3, open up Fruity Parametric EQ2, open up Fruity Fast Distortion, sorry, and turn the pre-knob all the way up. Then you want to go back to Fruity Parametric EQ2, and while this is playing, while you're playing the sample, you're just going to want to mess around with these EQ things. I don't know what they're called. Bands, I guess. I don't know. But what you want to do is put some of the bands up here in mid, and you can also put this this last one right here up to the top of sub, or somewhere around here. You also have to move one of these up here to sub, and you can also mess around with the band width, which basically it it brings out that frequency, or whatever it says right here. It brings out that certain frequency more than anything else. Um, but it can also be used to generalize it more, I guess, which basically means that um, it's less it's less focused. Um, but you can use this when you're making up-tempo kicks, or basically when you're making any kick. You can use that, and it sounds good sometimes. So I'm just going to start messing around with these how I normally do. Also, you can make automation clips, which, if you want to do that, because, okay, what an automation clip is that you can move one of these frequencies, or basically the automation clip moves the frequency from here to here, and it makes it so it has a higher frequency here, and then near the end of the kick it goes to lower to here. But I'm just going to start messing around with these first, so yeah. And as you can see already, we're getting that gravelly sort of noise that hardcore kicks have. But we're way far away from, or not really way far away, because it's not that long of a tutorial, but we're pretty much just at the very start right now. So I'm just going to start messing around with these a bit more, and yeah. And as you can see, when I make the bandwidth low and I put it up to the rest of these, it makes that sort of up-tempo sort of punch noise, where it's like a very specific frequency. I'm just calling these up-tempo kicks as normally that's what they are, but sometimes they're different. So yeah, I'm just going to mess around with these a bit more, and I'm pretty sure the next time I stop this, I'm going to be done. Okay, so I think I'm done with the general noise of the kick. Now, after this, what you're going to want to do, or what you can do if you like, is you can open, or you can open more fruity parametric EQ2s and more fruity fast distortions. But always make it so it's fruity parametric, fruity fast distortion, parametric distortion, parametric distortion. Don't make it parametric distortion, anything like that. Just 1 2 1 2. And on all the fruity fast distortions, make the pre-knob maximum. And yeah, that's pretty much how you get the bass of it. Bass meaning like the general kick itself. I don't know what I'm talking about. So in slot 4, basically in the next slot when you're done, open up Fruity Parametric EQ2 once again, and boost the sub by about this much, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. It depends. And sometimes you can move the treble around if you want to. So like at most this, and I don't really move it down that much because that muffles the kick. But I do sometimes bring this up a bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna. By the way, this is called mastering, so I'm gonna master the kick right now. Just a second. Now on this spectrogram here, or yeah, oscilloscope, or yeah, whatever. You're gonna want to see that sort of wave shape that looks like, basically one that looks like one that looks like this. So you don't want one that looks like this. So what that means is that it doesn't have any sub bass to it, and this is just adding sub bass. And I'm just gonna mess around with the treble now, see if that does anything. So I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. So after you're done with your kick, what you want to do is go into the song editor, scroll out a tiny bit, and make this, right click again and drag so it reaches a bar, or half of one, or whatever. Basically anything, basically just to leave some time after the kick for all the distortion to go back down, so you can resample the kick better. So now what you want to do is go back into the mixer, and open up Edison in the next slot, and click this record button. Then play the song, and after the kick is done playing and the distortion is done, stop or pause the song. Now, afterwards, after you want to do that, you want to immediately stop Edison as well. And now all you have to do is click this button, which cuts it to the start and end of the kick. And now you want to click this, which equalizes the kick, or not normalizes it. And after you're done doing that, what you want to do is click this and drag up to here to the song editor and back into here. And that is how you get your kick. And now all you have to do is click the kick, the new one, click the wrench, and click cut self. And what this is going to do is that when you're placing your kicks in the piano roll, they won't overlap. So the sample won't play while another sample is playing. So we're gonna go into the piano roll and select your kick, which should be named Untitled Project or whatever you name it, and scroll down and place notes. C5 is the root note, or basically just the basically it plays the sample like normal, just how it is right here as well. So also you're gonna have to switch to pattern for this, and just lay down notes that sound, or lay down notes and rolls and whatever you want. And this is what it sounds like now. Now, this second part is not really good, so I'm just gonna mess around with it a bit more. And normally what I do after this, these first 4 bars is make 4 bars of just no kick roll, or no rolls, or whatever. And I normally mess around with this last bar a bit more than normal, so... And that is how you make a simple kick roll for your kick. After this is done, you can also mess around with the automation, or not automation. You can mess around with the velocity. Now, sometimes you want a kick roll that's that cancels out the kick and then plays it again really shortly afterwards. And how I've figured out that, or how I've figured out how to do that is right after, right where you want the kick to stop, make another note and make the velocity 0. Or so go down here and drag that little bar right here down all the way, and that stops the kick from playing. So this can help when you're making kick rolls and stuff. So this is, I guess you could say, a generic, or not generic, but I don't know what to call this. It's like in the middle of generic hardcore and uptempo. So I would say, like, I guess it's leaning more to generic hardcore. So this is like just a normal hardcore kick. Yeah, I need to not do that because that sounds terrible. So this is a completed hardcore kick, basically. So now I'm going to show you guys how to make a Frenchcore kick. Now, open up a new project. No. So basically how I make Frenchcore kicks is that I take a dance kick, or it actually depends. So sometimes I've actually used 3x OSC or something else for the sub bass, but normally I just take a kick like the same exact one that you used before, set it up at 200 BPM or 900, or not 900, geez, 190. What you want to do after this is cut the kick in half, so it's a half bar. And now, click this again and make it make another one, and make sure you're zoomed in all the way. Now, what you're gonna want to do is make a frequency, make it freeze at a certain frequency, and what I mean by that is just drag this until it reaches the same exact frequency that it is right here, and then drag this all the way to here, and move it up back to here, and if that happens, just click it again, and this is what it should look like, and this is what it sounds like. So you can kind of hear that buzzing noise, which is what a sub bass, what the sub bass is. Oops. Oh heck. So after you're done doing this, now all you're gonna have to do is assign it to a channel again, or track again, and open up the same stuff that you did before with the last kick. Fruity Blood Overdrive. Slot 2 would be Fruity Parametric EQ2, and then the third one would be Fruity Fast Distortion. Now again, make the actually for Frenchcore kicks, you can either keep the the same, or like, I'd say from the middle to here, like, experiment with it. And for now, I'm just going to keep it at how it is right now. So I'm going to go back to Fruity Parametric EQ2, and I'm going to pretty much do the same exact thing that I did before, except not make bandwidths short. So as you can tell, by the time I drag the third one up, it already sounds like pretty okay. So I'm just gonna keep messing around with these. Now, this is where I want to use an automation clip. Basically what I'm going to do is, so I want to I want to make this, this band right here. I want, while the sample is playing, I want this to drag all the way down to sub. So what I'm going to do for that is, down here where the frequencies are, you can change that with this knob. So what you're going to want to do is right click this knob and click Create Automation Clip, and go back to your song editor. And I forgot to do this number last, I forgot to do this before I went into the mixer this time, so it's a bar long, but that's okay because I can just shorten it. Now all you need to do is right click to add points, and what I want to happen, or what I want to do is, I want to make that band right there, I want to make that band go down, or the frequency go down to bass or sub or whatever, which is lower. So I'm going to make it about right here, not all the way down, but just to right here. And I know it's a tiny change, but it'll affect it a lot. So I'm just gonna mess around with the kick. Also, you can change the direction of the automation clip. So it can either be like, it can either start out high and then slowly gradually go down to the second point, or it can just immediately go from high to low. But I'm gonna mess around with this automation clip for a tiny bit for now. So that sounds pretty good. Now I'm gonna mess around with the parametric again for a tiny bit. So if it's not quite how you want it to sound, then that's when you add another fruity parametric. Also, if you're running out of bands. So, nope, not that one. And you want specifically the second one, the second version of it, because the first one is kind of outdated, and you can't drag stuff around like this. So yeah. Oh, I almost forgot to another fruity fast distortion. So this frequency right here sounds pretty good for the tail, but for the punch, not so much. So what I'm going to do is drag it back up to where it was before. And I'm going to put an automation clip for the frequency again and do exactly what I did before with the first one. So I actually think it sounds a bit worse this way, so I'm just gonna turn it off these. So that sounds pretty good. So what you're gonna want to do is, for the next open slot, or if you're not using the if you're not using a few of these, click replace, or no, hover over replace and open up a new fruity parametric, so it resets everything. Or actually, no, it doesn't. It just okay. So what you're gonna want to do is, for this fruity fast distortion, replace it with an Edison, and the fruity parametric EQ2 here, you're just gonna want to master the kick with it. Okay, now I can describe it a bit better, but so what you don't want the kick to look like is a square wave, which is just this. Instead, you want it to look like sort of like a saw, kind of, so like this. So yeah, I'm gonna try messing around with the treble now again. Okay, that sounds good. Now I'm gonna do the same thing that I did before with Edison. So yeah. here is the Frenchcore kick. So this is the second to last kick that I'm making. But I'm just gonna make a kick roll for now. What the okay. Okay, and this is what it sounds like for now. So, if you want to mess around with the tail of the kick, what I'd use is 3x OSC and just one of these distorted kicks, but only the punch of it. And that's exactly what I did for my remix of In My Mind. Well, the work in progress of it anyways. But that's basically how you make a Frenchcore kick. And I'm just gonna open up another one. Or I'm gonna open up File and New and make a completely new one. But for uptempo kicks are very what is it? Uptempo / hammer kicks, because they can also be called hammer kicks. They're very, very frequency specific. They basically just switch from one frequency to another. And then you add sub bass on top of that. And now what you're going to want to do for that is open up another dance kick to make the BPM. You can make uptempo kicks from like 200 to 230, but I wouldn't use 190 because 190 is kind of slow for an uptempo kick. So I'll use 210. And then this. Okay. And assign it to another track. And now, again, you're going to want to open up Fruity Blood Overdrive and don't touch anything in it. Slot 2, you're going to want to open up Fruity Parametric EQ2 again. And Fruity Fast Distortion again. And again, make the pre-knob maximum and go into Fruity Parametric EQ2. And what you want to do for uptempo kicks is basically do what you did in the EQs before that I showed you, but make that but like times 2. So I'm gonna try to make an uptempo kick with one of these right now. And also you're gonna want to use more low bandwidth bands, I guess you could say, and just layer them on top of each other so they really bring out a certain frequency that you want. So that would mean basically putting one in the middle of the other. So this. Okay, and as you can hear now, it's kind of shaping up a tiny bit, so yeah. And as you could hear right there, that's no. But I'm gonna make it yes. So what you also want to do is turn up the sub all the way, or not turn up the sub, but you want to drag the first band all the way up, so it turns the sub and the rest all the way up like that. So for uptempo kicks, I almost always use automation clips. So what I'm gonna do is, again, right click the frequency that I want, or the band that I want frequency, and create automation clip. Go back to here, and this time I selected the kick itself, but up here in the I don't know what this is called, but I'm just gonna do some dragging and stuff. So yeah. So that already sounds absolutely well, I don't know how I would describe my kicks against other people's, but it's okay for now. So after this, you're just going to want to open up another free parametric EQ2 in the next slot, and again, master the kick like the two previous ones, and open up Edison and resample it. And so I've noticed while I'm playing this kick that it has like some sort of I don't know how to describe it, so I'm gonna try doing this real quick. Okay, I think that sounds a bit better. So I'm gonna try adding a bit more of a talk to it. Talk. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Or how do you pronounce it? It's spelled T-O-K, but so a talk and a punch is different. A punch is like this part of the kick, and however the fuck you pronounce T-O-K, that is like right here. That's like the very start of the kick. So I'm gonna try to add, like, I've seen people use the start of cymbals, like rides, and I've seen Retep use this, so I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna try also putting it to the track with all this distortion on it. Okay, so I can hear that, but you're not really supposed to hear one of these things. So I'm going to try to turn the volume down a tiny bit. Okay, Now I'm just going to try resampling the kick. So what you don't want to do while you're making kicks is you do not want to put any distortion or anything. You don't want to put it on master, because what master is all of the sounds combined and stuff. All of these inserts, all of these tracks combined together, and that sometimes when you're putting a synth, you're not going to want to use master because it applies the distortion that's on the master track to the synth as well, which does not sound good at all. It sounds like basically ear rape. So what I'm gonna do right now is, since I'm using two different inserts for this kick, all I'm gonna do is just record it from the master track. So Edison, and that, and drag it into here. So this is your uptempo kick. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make a kick roll with it now. And this is what it sounds like. So I hope this helped you guys in some way at all, in any shape or form. But yeah, this is my first video in weeks. I think a month or so. I don't know, but it's good to be back and doing stuff again. So yeah, I'll see you guys maybe in a stream or something later. So yeah, see you for now.